Hello and welcome to the Gavra Racing GT7 Season 9, Season 9, Round 9, Season Finale here at Interlagos. Now, I can tell you one thing, what a race this is, and we'll get onto that in a minute. But I'm going to start this video with a little bit of an announcement. If you haven't seen it in the Discord chat, then I am stepping down as the admin of the GT7 League at the end of this season. So after the 5 red lights go out, that will be my last 5 red lights. And like I said, what a pleasure it's been for the last 8 seasons as myself being an admin, but 9 being involved in the league. So thank you to all the drivers and viewers that have joined me on this journey. But we've got one final destination to reach before we get to the checkered flag, and that's the Brazilian Grand Prix. So let's go through how the grid lined up for this race. On pole position is the drivers' champion, the new champion, Mr. Play Duchy, puts his Mercedes AMG on pole position for one final time this season. And what a beautiful little message he's got on the side of that car. Behind him and joining him on the front row of the grid is Bonneville in the Red Bull Porsche. He starts in second place for this one, but ahead of Piero, who starts in third place. Behind him is Cameron Kaboom starting fourth on the second row of the grid in his red, black and white Mercedes AMG. And just behind the start-finish line is our flying Finn, Mr. Atom Grin, who's got a very beautiful Brazilian-themed livery on that Subaru, replacing the pink for yellow and green. And I just love this touch on the rear wing. You think it's the Brazilian flag, and then you get up close, and there's a Subaru badge in the middle of it. Absolutely stunning. Behind Tim in sixth place is Littmanen in the McLaren-themed McLaren. Very fitting. He starts in sixth, ahead of debutant Topster in seventh. Debut for this season, but a popular name amongst the Gavra Racing community, has been around for quite some time, and he makes his return for the final race of a season at Interlagos. Where have I seen that before? In eighth place, position where I finished for the last 2 races, is myself in the purple and green BMW M6. Starting 8th place, no special livery for me or Ted, who starts at the back of the pack in 9th place. And there is your grid for one final time this season, and maybe for the final time ever. Depends if who would like to take over. But we'll get on to details and all that at the end of the stream. So without further ado, for the final time, let's get this race underway. 30 laps of Interlagos, 4.3 kilometers, 200 meters down to turn 1. And we go racing here in Brazil, in Sao Paulo, and Duchy gets a good start off the line. Cameron Kaboom with a flyer from 4th. He's up to 2nd already. Bonneville making, I think that's contact with Tim, who tried to go for a move down the inside, sending the Porsche into a bit of a drift, but manages to escape from that bit of contact. Tim down to 4th place. Piero, though, up into 5th. Bortman's maintaining a good position in 6th place at the start of this race. But Duchy and Cameron Kaboom leading the way. The 2 Mercedes getting off to a good start. Someone's gone wide in the background. That's Littmanen in the McLaren, drops down to last place. Tim and Topster going side by side through the left-hander of turn 5 as the drivers make their way up the hill for the first time this race. Tim and Topster going side by side, with myself looking for a gap appearing on the inside, quickly closed by the German, who's moved his way up into 6th place. And that's Duchy off. Duchy's gone on the grass and he's off down it. Whatever corner it is, I think it's turn 10, and will drop to last place. We didn't get a great camera angle of it, but there's an even better one. He nearly takes out the cameraman stationed on the exit of turn 10, and that is a rare mistake from our new champion. He's nearly dropped it rejoining the circuit on those dirty medium compound tyres. And that's Dutchy out the back for the first time this season. Let's see what he can do. He's about, I think, 7-8 seconds behind the race leader, which is now Cameron Kaboom. These may be the last 30 laps of me as the admin, but there's certainly going to be 30 good racing laps with our champion at the back of the field. There are still championships to be decided. However, they were wrapped up before the lights went out. Tiger and Toussaint missing for this race. Actually missing. No one knows where they are or what they're doing. That is a lie. They're not missing. But as they are absent, they can no longer win the team's championship, which means Dutchy and myself automatically claim victory in that championship battle. There are still places, though, to be decided in the Drivers' Championship from 3rd to 7th, all between, I think, 20 points separating those drivers. So it's still very close in the middle of the field. Seeing as this could be my last GT commentary, let's make it a good one. No mistakes, no bloopers. Not having any of that today. Cameron getting a little bit loose through turn 12, the final proper corner out of the 15 here at Interlagos. Bon Evil's got a good run, he got a good exit from turn 12, and he's going to have a little bit of a run on Cameron down towards the first corner. Cameron defends the inside. They're side by side over the line, starting lap 3 of 30, with Cameron on the left hand side of the circuit, right hand side of the screen, defends the inside for turn 1, breaks later than Bonnie, has got a little bit deep though, and Bonnie's going to swoop right round the outside of the Mercedes. I was preparing for a switchback, but that was an outstanding overtake from Bon Evil, who now takes the lead of the race from Cameron Kaboom. Cameron and Piero in a team's championship fight with Bonnie and Tim. Contact as Cameron hits the back of Bon Evil. Natty's going for a move down the inside of Topster, who gets hit from Fortman's in the background. The McLaren lifts off to let the Honda NSX go through. And in all of that, that promotes Natty up into 5th place. Ted having a look for a move on Littmann for 7th place in that beautifully sounding Mazda VGT. As Cameron Kaboom trying to put Bon Evil under pressure, going through the downhill left-hander of turn 9. And the front runners are still very close to each other. Topster and Littmann going side by side through the middle sector, with Topster coming out on top. Littmann trying to find a move through this middle sector. But Topster maintaining 6th position rail. The Honda really struggles through these final couple of corners, especially compared to the McLaren, which is probably the fastest car at this circuit, albeit a Mercedes took pole position. And that's Littmann up into 6th place. Meanwhile up front, no, Bon Evil defensive from Cameron Kaboom. It's a switch of what happened on the previous lap. They're still side by side, except this time Bon Evil comes out on top going through turn 1. Cameron settles for 2nd and Piero in 3rd place. Those are your top 3 after the first 4 laps of racing. And Tim's got a 5/10th penalty for track limits through the Senna S's. And we'll have to serve that on the exit of turn 13, just before turn 14, down the start-finish straight. Don't know what's happened to Fortman's, but he's side by side with Ted through turn 4. The Irishman moving his way up into 7th place, with Play Dutchy closing in the background. But Ted's ran a little bit wide. He opens the door wide open for Littmann to slip one down the inside, moves his way up into 7th place. Ted unable to fight back for a move on the inside. And arriving on the scene is our champion. Dutchy gets past Ted and moves up into 8th place. In front of them, Fortmans is looking for a move on Topster, but the Honda stays in front for now. Back up to our leaders, who are making their way through the final corner on the start-finish straight. Bon Evil leading from Cameron Kaboom. It's a British 1-2. And these 4 drivers in the top 4 are all fighting for 3rd place in the team's championship. Born Evil goes defensive to the inside. It's deja vu from the previous lap. And Born Evil stays ahead down towards the first corner. Litmanen's going for a move on the inside of Topster that tries the up and under. Will look for a good exit off turn 2 and down through the left-hander of turn 3. But as I go back up to the race leaders to quickly check if Cameron Kaboom pulls over to the inside, sends one late on the brakes. I think there might have been a little bit of contact between the two. Born Evil drifting his way through turn 4, side by side with Cameron Kaboom, and Pierre is going to try and follow his teammate through up the hill in towards turn 7. And it's now Cameron who takes the lead of the race. To the middle of the pack, Fortman's ahead of Topster after getting the move down towards turn 4. And that McLaren's now up into 6th place. Dutchy just right behind that Honda NSX. And is keen on making his way back through the pack after a spin at this very corner, turn 10. Dutchy on the inside of Topster though. Moves his way up into 7th place with a move round the outside down at turn 11. Lovely stuff from Play Dutchy. In his comeback drive through the field. On board with Cameron Kaboom, you can see the closing speed of the cars behind, tucked in the slipstream of that Mercedes AMG. Which way will Bonnie go, left or right? Cameron's gone heavily defensive to the inside, now in the middle of the circuit, going in towards turn 1. Bonnie will going to the outside. Can he make this stick, or will he just prepare himself for turn 4? Cameron's gone a little bit deeper than I think he would have hoped for. It's going to give Bonnie the traction and the exit he needs. He's practically pushing Cameron Kaboom through turn 3, pulls over to the outside. They're side by side early on down the back straight. In the run down towards turn 4, there's nothing separating the 2 Brits or the 2 German manufacturers. But Cameron Kaboom with the inside maintains the lead of the race. It's not over yet though, because Bon Evil's got a good run on the exit of turn 4 into turn 5. Up the hill and towards turn 6, there might have been contact. Piero looking for the outside, but Bonnie looking for the outside of Cameron Kaboom through the uphill right-hander. The Mercedes on the outside, Bonnie now on the inside for turn 7. Sends it late on the brakes. Cameron goes wide. His teammate might follow him through as Bon Evil pulls in front of the Mercedes down towards the left-hander of turn 8. And what a crazy, amazing, beautiful fight we've got on for the lead of the race. The 2 Dutch drivers on the grid now battling for 6th place, with Litmanen ahead of Dutchy. Natty right up behind Tim in the Subaru, and will be looking to move his way through the field as we start lap 7 of 30. Bon Evil going very defensive up to the pit wall on the inside in the run down towards turn 1. Cameron forced to the outside for turn 1. Can he make the stick? He's going to try and hold it round the outside. Has the inside for turn 2. But Bonnie puts the foot down and keeps his bumper in for the inside at turn 3 and keeps the lead of the race. But hold your hats, because here comes Cameron Kaboom. Will he go for it on the inside? Piero giving him a little bit of a bump to aid him in an overtake, but he's going to sit behind for now. And as we watch behind Tim, Natty, Dutchy now ahead of Litman, and he made the move down towards the centre S's. He's now inside the top 6. Tobster not too far behind Litmanen either, and I can hear that Mazda not too far behind Tobster. Cameron Kaboom looking for a gap on the inside, but one that was closing very quickly as he hunts for a race win. It would be his first of the season. Likewise with Piero, who's running up there inside the top 3. Here we go once again. Cameron Kaboom and Bon Evil fighting for the lead of the race, starting lap 8. Down towards turn 1. Bon Evil had a big enough gap through the final corner that Cameron couldn't quite go for a move down towards the first corner, and will keep the lead of the race. But there's another straight coming up. We ride on board with Cameron Kaboom as he closes down Bon Evil in the Porsche, but isn't quite close enough to challenge down towards turn 4. Behind him, Piero in that McLaren, just looking for an opportunity. Will sit behind, save fuel, perhaps. Yeah, you can hear the lifting and coasting through turn 6. But look at this up front, Cameron Kaboom looking for a move on Bon Evil, who's left the door open. There might have been contact, I'm not sure, it was hard to tell. Cameron's going to have to try this the long way around, swoop it round the outside, forced off the track and onto the grass. Manages to save it. And Bonnie still keeps the lead of the race, and that beautiful camera angle showing how close the grid is. The top 8 here on lap 8 running very close together. I think Cameron's a lot closer to the back of that Porsche than he was on the last lap. He might find himself challenging down in towards the first corner. Starting lap 9, here comes Cameron Kaboom, fakes to the outside, goes to the inside for turn 1. That's a beautiful move from Cameron Kaboom, who now takes the lead of the race. But can he keep it though? Because he's got a back straight of which to defend from. Bon Evil's closing and closing. Cameron pulls back over to the racing line, down in towards turn 4. Bonnie almost pushing the back of that Mercedes through turn 4, the downhill left-hander, before making their way back up in the run down towards turn 6. Cameron defensive to the inside. Bonnie thought about it, goes to the outside. We'll have to try and swoop it round the long way. Maybe cut back for the inside at turn 7, which Cameron has defended. Bon Evil's going to try and go round the outside of Cameron Kaboom, but isn't quite far enough alongside. Will just set himself up for a move in towards turn 10, sends one to the inside. The two German manufacturers side by side through turn 10. Bon on the inside has the outside for turn 11. They are still door to door, side by side in the final race of the season. Nothing to lose. As Cameron Kaboom dips a wheel on the grass, running wide through turn 12. Will lose the position to Bon Evil, maybe lose a position to his teammate. Bonnie on the inside, Cameron Kaboom being aided by Piero. They're going to go 3 wide, down towards the centre S's. Cameron on the outside, has the inside for turn 2. Bonnie's going to try and hold it around the outside once again. It's a repeat of a couple of laps ago, where Bon Evil keeps the lead of the race, and look who's joining the party. It's our Flying Finn in the Subaru. Cameron's looking for a space on the inside. Couldn't quite go for it. Now side by side with his teammate Piero, who might lose the position to Tim, who's going to slot in between. Those two are going to go side by side. Piero being boxed in behind his teammate Cameron Kaboom. Now has the inside though for turn 6. Tim going to try and swoop it right round the outside in the Subaru. Can he make this one stick? He's still going to go side by side with Piero. Takes a slightly wider line. Does he keep his foot in? Yes, he does. Has the inside down for turn 9. And a beautiful move from Tim. Sees him move up into a podium position. And I think Piero got a very good exit out of turn 7. Turn 8, sorry. And drops down into 4th place. Natty, Dutchy, Fortmans as well, gaining on this battle. Look how close the top 7 are. Tobster and Ted not too far behind either. What a season finale we're in for today, guys. This is unbelievable already. It has Lago Maggiore written all over it. Down the start finish straight to end lap 10 and start lap 11. The top 7 running, separated by about 3 seconds. Bon Evil defending the inside from Cameron once again. Behind, no one making moves. Tobster and Ted not even too far behind that battle for what is the lead of the Brazilian Grand Prix. As our cameraman follows Cameron Kaboom, trying to swoop his way around the outside, brakes later than the Porsche, but can't quite make that move stick. Will set himself up for the uphill right-hander at turn 6. if he's close enough to send it. Not on this occasion. Takes a slightly wider line. Does he cut it to the inside? It's something you can do quite beautifully in these GT3 cars. Natty drifting his way through the fast right-hander in that BMW M6. He's under pressure from his teammate, who sends one down the inside. Natty's going to try and hold it around the outside if he can, but can't quite keep 5th place. That is now owned by Play Duchy. The two teams champions this season, running in 5th and 6th place. Natty now has Littmanen on his inside through the final couple of corners. It's going to be a drag race to the line between these two. The purple and green BMW against the orange and black McLaren. But back up to the front of the field, Cameron and Bon Evil are side by side once again, with Bon Evil on the inside. Cameron trying to go round the outside, but just waits. He's probably going to look for a good run through turn 3 and set himself up for a move at turn 4. It's right on board with Cameron Kaboom. Bonnie drifting over to the left hand side of the circuit, defends the inside line, drifts back over though to the racing line. Cameron tries to go round the outside, has to watch his mirrors because Tim is ready to pounce on an open door. Up the hill we go once again. That looked like Piero looking for a move on Tim. These 4 drivers, remember, are battling for 3rd place in the team's championship. Not much separates them. We're 12 laps into this race and the top 7 are separated by 2.5 seconds roughly. And that's after 12 laps of racing, with tyre wear beginning to kick in for a lot of drivers who like to shred through their mediums. Not too far out from the scheduled pit window. Here we go once again. Cameron going for it on Ben, Tim going for it on Piero. They're nearly 2x2, contact between the two leaders. Cameron going to try and hold it around the outside, but he's got a little bit deep. That's going to compromise both their exits through turn 2. And look at Tim now up into 2nd place. Cameron was first at one point through turn 1. He's now down to 4th place. Tim running side by side with Piero in the run down towards turn 4. Down the back straight. Piero late on the brakes. Goes up into 2nd place. And then look at Duchy up into 4th. And Cameron's gone from 1st to 5th in a couple of corners. Duchy charging his way back through the field after his mistake on lap 1. Has got the fastest lap of the race as well. I think there was a bit of a domino effect down at turn 6. I think Cameron hit the back of Duchy into the back of Tim. So those 3 have lost a little bit of time to the front 2, but not too much that it might have a significant impact on the end of this race. No one's got any damage, I believe, and Littmanen's right up behind the back of Cameron Kaboom. I've dropped off the back of the top 6, starting to struggle with tyre wear, as is Littmanen, but he's on those soft compound tyres. Look at that for tyre wear. Natty on mediums is the same as Fortman's on softs. That is not very good, although Cameron Kaboom as well in a similar boat. Piero pulls over to the inside, as does Duchy on Tim, down towards the centre S's. Once again, Cameron Kaboom, Tim now side by side in the background. A little bit of contact between these two, but all's fair in love and war. Tim now swooping around the outside, down at turn 3, moves up into 4th place. As the viewers start flooding in, the overtakes just don't stop. Born Evil defending from Piero, down towards turn 4. Nearly both go off the track, but managed to keep it within the white lines. This race has been nothing but unbelievable so far, and it's only been a couple of days since I announced my retirement from admin duties, and these guys took that personally. it seems. They are putting on quite a show for us at the season finale of Interlagos, a track that I nearly didn't put on this season's calendar. I can't remember what it was instead, if anything at all. But it definitely wasn't the season finale until a couple of days before I released the sign-ups for the season. Pierre's got a good run on Bon Evil, who just about squeezes into the pit lane. I want to have one more look at that actually, because that looks very close. So Bon Evil triggering the undercut. Pierre, obviously not knowing what Bon Evil's going to do, naturally goes to the inside. That was close to an aeroplane accident. But Bon Evil pits at the end of lap 14 onto 50 from the medium tyres, triggers the undercut, and will try and do the other half of the race on the red striped soft compound tyre. If he can make that work, then that could be one crazy strategy. But he will definitely struggle for tyre wear at the end of the race. His mediums have only just gone 15 laps, so the other 15 laps are going to be agonising for him at the end of his stint, unless he plans on saving or conserving tyres. But Dutchy is now promoted up into second place and nearly back where he was before that lap 1 incident. He's just trying to work his way around Piero, just taking slightly different lines, trying to get better exits, avoid as much dirty air as you can. Riding on board from inside the Mercedes AMG, and you can see that Subaru very close behind in his rearview mirror. But I think he's more concentrated on the back of that McLaren in front, wanting to put that in his rearview mirror. Although, having said that, if the back of that McLaren was in the rearview mirror, then someone's going backwards. Piero will be going backwards because he's pulling into the pits, so will not lead lap 16. That one is taken to play Dutchy. Piero reacting to Bon Evil's undercut as Formans is now up into a podium position. I think the first time that Litmanen's ran inside the top 3 all season. Correct me if I'm wrong. I do apologise if I am. But it's a great display from the Dutchman. Cameron flashing his lights, trying to put Litmanen off as they make their way down in towards turn 4, maybe trying to make him miss his braking point. Obviously, in real life, flashing is a lot more effective. Flashing your lights is a much more effective method of distracting a driver. And Cameron might have just done enough. He's got the inside for turn 6, side by side with the McLaren. Side by side, no longer, moves up back into 3rd place in a podium position. And with ex-Natty G not too far behind either. Bon Evil and Piero, though, side by side through turn 6, triggering the undercut. They're still going side by side. The battle for 7th place, albeit these guys have pitted. They're still going to go wheel to wheel, down into the downhill left-hander of turn 9. Bonnie on the inside. Piero going to hold it around the outside. Was nearly forced off the track. Just had enough room. Now has the inside for turn 10. Bonnie was going to try the old up and under as the leaders pull into the pits. Through the final proper corner, Bon Evil with the inside line goes a little bit deep. Piero sets himself up for a better exit. And although these guys triggered the undercut, has that battling maybe cost them their chance to gain a couple of positions, they're still going to go side by side, starting the start-finish line to end lap 16 onto lap 17. What a battle these two are displaying for us. The Porsche on the inside of the McLaren in towards the Senna S's. Bon Evil later on the brakes gets the move done, and you can see the two leaders coming out of the pit lane. They're going to be practically 2 by 2 on the minimap. This is going to be very close indeed. Dutchy exits the pits, but with the overspeed, Bon Evil and Piero go through up into 4th and 5th. Dutchy in 6th and Tim behind in 7th. Natty's lost a lot of time in the pit lane, it seems. I was trying to work out the distance. I think it's about 5 or 6 seconds lost. Just putting in a little bit more fuel to get that thirsty BMW to the end of the race. Up front, Fortmans is struggling with tyres. He's done 17 laps on a set of soft compound tyres, so maybe it is doable for Bonneville to go 16 laps on his. And I think the top 2 will be into the pits, no, just Littmanen in at the end of this lap. And Cameron Kaboom stays out for one more, Topster following him in. But back down to the battle for the next lead of the race. These guys are certainly going to be gaining on Cameron Kaboom with their fresher soft compound tyres, but Cameron's going for the overcut, staying out on those mediums to have much fresher softs at the end of the race, which should make him quicker. Speaking of going quicker, Bonneville sets the fastest lap of the race as Dutchy goes for a move down the inside of Piero in towards turn 1, completes it at turn 2, but can he keep it by turn 4? Because Piero's got a good sling off the exit of turn 3, and he's already side by side with the Mercedes. The 2 former F1 Super League teammates winning the championship with AlphaTauri. Now side by side here at Interlagos with Piero winning that battle. So far this season, Dutchy has finished every single race on the podium and is currently running outside the top 3 and 4th, but has his eyes set on 1st. Dutchy also started on pole position, which means if he doesn't win this race, I think for the first time in Gavra Racing GT history, the pole sitter has never converted a pole to win race in a season. Famously taking poles but not able to execute them after getting poor lap 1 starts, I think has a net position loss of a negative number, but has recently corrected that. I think Brands Hatch in Spain was a turning point. No, not Spain, but I think Brands Hatch was a turning point, albeit the penultimate race of the season. And look at this 3-way fight for 6th place. Natty G trying to go right round the outside of Fortmans, down and towards turn 3. Can he find the grip on those softs as Cameron Kaboom exits the pit lane? Are they going to go 3 wide into turn 4? It's hard to tell with this camera angle. They are 2 by 2. Natty trying to go round the outside of Littmanen, but just slots in between the McLaren and the Mercedes. As Tobbs is now up into 5th place. Tobster in his famous Honda NSX. Is it a coincidence that Tobster's on the grid in a Honda? Toussaint hasn't showed up. For those who don't know, let's just say Toussaint can probably still paint the back of that Honda after quite a long race for him at Spain from season 1. Tobster done a great job defending from him all race long. But despite the defending out in front, it's not stopped the overtaking, because here comes our Frenchman Piero. I don't know where the L came from. Who is flying with a new fastest lap, 1:30.4. Cameron Kaboom using the grip on those soft compound tyres to go for it on the inside of Topster down and towards turn 1. Gets the move done up into 5th place. Now we'll try and maybe work with these guys to close back down to the top 2, who are side by side with Bonneville on the inside. Piero once again trying to go for it around the outside, but being unsuccessful. Behind Topster, can't quite fight back on Cameron Kaboom. Riding on board, you can see that pink BMW filling the mirrors. It's gone to the left hand side of the circuit. It's going for the outside. Can Natty swoop it right around the outside of Topster at turn 6? He's going to try and hold it around the outside. Goes wide, cuts inside, but hasn't quite got a good exit through turn 8. Now into 9, the downhill left-hander. and really tricky cornering cars like the Honda and the BMW that have quite light rear ends makes putting the foot down just that little bit trickier. But back up to the leaders. Here's the view from the back of Bon Evil's Porsche. You can see the cars behind gaining and gaining and gaining, but not gaining enough to go for a move. What about from the back of Tobster's Honda NSX? He's got a BMW M6 closing on him as they make their way in towards turn 1. Is Natty going to send one down the inside? He does, late on the brakes, and the BMW goes through on the inside up into 6th place. Good evening, Black Country Mush in the chat, and yes indeed, what a final race we've got. The final race of the season, my final race, and we're near the end actually. This race has gone incredibly quickly. Lap 21 of 30, just over 2/3 of the way through the Brazilian Grand Prix. Round 9, season 9, and 9 drivers battling for glory. I thought I saw a move in the midfield, but Natty stays in 6th, ahead of Topster in 7th, and Littmanen on those mediums, struggling to keep up in 8th place, but still doing a great job, scoring some good points. Now this could be very close indeed by the time we get to turn 1. The top 3 are very close to each other. Dutchy's already pulled up alongside Piero. They could be 3 wide by the time we get to the centre S's, because here they come. Bon Evil might be defenceless, just has the gap to keep them behind. Dutchy though moves up into 2nd place. Piero down into 3rd. And Tim has just lost touch of the top 3. Bon Evil parks his car in the middle of the circuit, defending from Dutchy down towards turn 4. Making our way through the uphill right-hander at turn 6. Bonnie in the lead from Dutchy, Piero, the top 3. Tim in 4th place, has a gap to Cameron Kaboom behind in 5th, who is on fresher soft compound tyres. The Natty in 6th and Tobster in 7th. Littmanen running on the mediums in 8th and Ted on those softs in 9th. Here we go once again, down the start finish straight. Bon Evil leading another lap of the Brazilian Grand Prix, but will he lead this one? Because here comes Play Dutchy. Is he going to challenge him towards turn 1? No, he's not. Might set himself up though for turn 4. But he's got a snap of oversteer on the exit of the corner, and that's going to leave him vulnerable to Piero behind, who's fighting for Constructors' Championships. 3rd place, in the team's championship. Him and Cameron Kaboom trying to gain points and beat Bonnie and Tim. Going into this race, Tim and Bonnie are separate on 129 points. Pierre and Cameron 7 points behind on 122. So it's very close between those two. In the Drivers' Championship, Pierre on 71, Tim on 66, so Tiger on 66, not here tonight, Bonnie on 63. So a good result for Bon Evil, could see himself jump from 6th to 3rd in the championship after missing the first 2 races of the season. Meanwhile, in the midfield, the battle for 6th place continues between Natty and Tobster, who have somewhat of a an interesting rivalry after a particular Premier Series race at Interlagos. No love lost. But no love lost between the two former teammates as Dutchy goes side by side with Bon Evil in this, the new race leader. But can he keep it for more than a corner? Because Bon Evil's going to fight back in towards turn 2. But Dutchy has the position. Bonnie has the line. Can he get the grip and the exit he needs to challenge him towards turn 4? Pulls over aggressively to the inside before Dutchy can even think about covering it off. Dutchy heavily defensive, but Bon Evil tight to the inside. Wheel to wheel with his former teammate. Forces the Dutchman off the track. Not as much as Max and Lewis, but certainly with similar consequences. A Dutch and a British driver making contact at the exit of turn 4. Dutchy now drops down to 3rd. Piero takes the lead of the race away from Bon Evil. And Tim now getting involved in this battle as well. I saw some dust being kicked up from one of the top 2. I think that might have been Bon Evil, but I'm not too sure. But Tim has been setting some very good competitive lap times to catch up to the top 3. But a bit of a gap now is formed between Dutchy and Bon Evil after that little bit of contact down at turn 4. It's just given the top 2 a couple corners worth of breathing space. On lap 25 of 30. The gap between Natty and Tops is remaining fairly constant. Down the start-finish straight in towards turn 1. But through turn 3, Tim's a little bit closer to Dutchy. I'm not sure he's close enough to go for a move. It's going to have to be a send. The biggest send you've ever seen if he was to make it stick. But wisely sticks behind. Dutchy's gone wide in his road to the curb. That's going to cost him on the exit. Tim pushing him up the hill in towards turn 6. I think Tim's more thinking about the win late on at the end of this race. Maybe just trying to work with Dutchy, not lose too much time. Closing up that gap. Although if a door opens, I think he will be more than happy to walk straight through it. Piero's got a bit of a gap now to Bon Evil, who's struggling on those soft compound tyres, pitted earlier than everyone else. The first driver to come into the pits of the mediums and go onto the softs. And look at the difference between himself and Dutchy. Certainly starting to feel the effects of those worn soft compound tyres. And this is where Cameron Boom's going to come into play as the top 4 battle. Cameron could come and score some good points here, with his teammate leading the race, his rivals in 2nd and 4th, but Cameron is gaining at about 5 to 6 tenths a lap. And you can see him there in the background of your shot down the start-finish straight, going in towards turn 1. Piero capitalising on Bon Evil's worn tyres and has pulled a comfortable margin to the driver running in 2nd place. The win is all but certain now for Piero, with 5 laps to go. The final 5 laps of season 9, and the final season that I ran, at least. Who knows if there'll be another one after, but I'll get on to more information about that at the end of the stream. We do have donuts lined up for everyone. And yes, to those watching this live, the race did just happen. Roughly 26 laps ago it finished. Plus the time for donuts. But Topster in this battle for 6th place has got much better tyres than Natty in front and might consider going for a move. Natty running wide through turn 11 and wide through turn 12. Don't think there's going to be a mover. Never mind, there is. Here comes Play Dutchy on his former teammate to the outside at turn 1. Can he make this stick? We'll have the inside for turn 2. Bonnie leaves him the space. Meanwhile behind, Topster going for a move on the inside of Natty in the BMW. The Honda now up into 6th place. Natty's going to try and set himself up for a fight back into 4, as is Play Dutchy. Late on the brakes to the outside of Bon Evil. Bon Evil pushing Dutchy as wide as he can. Dutchy losing the rear on the exit. Getting an almighty tank slapper. Could allow Tim to move up inside the top 3. The Subaru hungry for points. As Dutchy goes for it on the inside of Bon Evil down towards turn 5. This is a beautiful camera angle. On board with Tim. He's got the best seat in the house as the two make contact in front of them. Dutchy runs wide and nearly off the track. It's not the first time they've touched, and I don't think it'll be the last. But Tim now separating the two former teammates, running in the podium position. Piero has left the scene in the lead of the race. It's now a battle for second between these 3 drivers, with Cameron Kaboom gaining every single lap. And here comes Play Dutchy once again on Tim, down towards turn 1. Are they going to go 3 wide? No, they're not. Dutchy, though, on the inside. Nearly makes contact with Bon Evil in front, but moves up into 3rd place. This is exhausting, as the cameraman has been killed on the exit of turn 3. Rest in peace. Bon Evil defensive to the inside. Down at turn 4, Dutch is going to try and swoop it round the outside once again, but he knows what happened on the last lap. He goes wide, he cuts inside, he's got the run up the hill, side by side with Bon Evil. The German manufacturers, the British and the Dutch, fighting at Interlagos. Once again, the Mercedes trying to swoop it round the outside. Bonnie has the inside for turn 7, turn 8. And now look at Tim trying to go round the outside of Dutchy. Can he find the grip, the traction he needs? No, he can't. But Bonnie now defending for his life on those... There's no other word for it. Screwed, shredded, destroyed, soft compound tyres. I say there's no other word and I name 3. But the big boy Cameron Kaboom has invited himself into the battle for 2nd place. Pitting a couple of laps later has allowed him to set some very quick competitive times. Dutchy pulls alongside Bon Evil, door banging towards turn 1. Tim makes it 3 wide on the inside. Dutchy on the outside. There's contact between the two. There's tyres screeching as they go down the centre S's for the 29th time this race on the penultimate lap of season 9. And Tim's up into 2nd place. Dutchy's down to 3rd, and Bon Evil's defending from Cameron Kaboom. That Mercedes late on the brakes down at turn 4 with a beautiful move. Now up into 4th place. The comeback from Cameron is on. Natty's also got ahead of Topster somewhere in that battle. These drivers really are providing a great send-off to the season. I am going to miss this. It is not over yet. It might be for Bon Evil, who's got 2 punctures to the right-hand side of his Porsche. Tim's got a little bit of breathing space to work with. Can Cameron Kaboom find his way past the reigning champion, or the new reigning champion, who wrapped it up last week in Brands Hatch? Will this be the first race Dutchy doesn't finish on the podium, because he's under pressure from Cameron Kaboom as we start the final lap of season 9? Cameron Kaboom on the inside. Can he complete the move? Yes, he can. But the loading bar is still loading. Dutchy, though, taking a lot of inside curve. That might force him a little bit wide on exit. With the understeer from the dirty air, Cameron Kaboom might keep this position. Tobbs has got ahead of Natty, who's picked up a 2-second time penalty for going wide at the penultimate corner, that's what it was for. This would be the first time this season Dutchy doesn't finish on the podium unless he can get past Cameron Kaboom. Going through turn 9, there's only 6 corners to go. I think Cameron might have this, but it could be close between him and Tim. It won't be the first photo finish to the line. However, Piero has started on so many pole positions in the past and hasn't quite executed them. He hasn't started on pole position today, but that doesn't matter because he has fought brilliantly in this race and has come out on top. He wins the Brazilian Grand Prix and his first win of the season. It's going to be close for second, but Tim's going to get it from Cameron in third, Dutchy in fourth, and Bon Evil in fifth. Topster on debut finishes where he started. No, started 7th, so gains positions on season debut. And Natty crawls across the line with a puncture for the final time. It wouldn't be the end of a season without listening to the beautiful sound of the Mazda VGT. And Fortmans rounds the final corner and wins. Oh no, it doesn't win. I got a bit excited. I was finishes in 9th. I was thinking of Piero's post-race photo. But to quickly go through the grid, because we've got donuts prepared. Liminen finishes in 9th, Ted in 8th, myself in 7th, Topster in 6th. 5th is Bonnie. Dutchy in 4th, off the podium for the first time this season, with Cameron in 3rd, Tim in 2nd, and Piero in 1st. Your race winner for the first time this season. We'll get a quick post-race photo because we've got donuts lined up as per usual. So a cheeky quick photo. There we go. Look at that girl in the background. I think that's a girl. Is that a girl? In the middle? I don't know. There's a man doing a poo on the left-hand side of the screen. Oh my days, I don't know what he thought of this race. I don't know if he was watching a different race. But this race was something special. Come on, hurry up. There we go, there's your race winner and the blurry man taking a poo in the background. Well done to Piero for winning the Brazilian Grand Prix. Congratulations to Dutchy as well for winning the Drivers' Championship for the 6th time. And, well, congrats to Dutchy and myself for winning the Constructors. It seems weird to say that, but yeah. Don't worry, guys, this isn't the start of a new race. This is just the post-race donut show. So yes, it's now time for the boring admin story stuff. For those of you who missed the start of the stream or haven't seen the announcements in the Discord, I am stepping down as the Gavra Racing GT7 admin at the end of the season, which has just been complete. So I'd like to say thank you to every single driver and every single viewer that has joined us on this journey for the past 4 years. It really has been quite something. I've loved most races, and most people have been amazing and fantastic. And you have sometimes made my job a little bit easier. So I just want to say thank you to everyone, Gavra, Kevin as well, for giving me the role for Season 2. It's been a joy since... These are horrible donuts, we can't see anything. Oh, hello. It's the problem with doing them on the exit of Turn 4, that's where the cameraman is. This has not gone to plan, has it? There's too much smoke and the camera's too close. But hey ho, cars are just emerging out of this. Anyway, that's the fun of donuts. There we go, bird's eye view. So, for the viewers watching, if you would like to be my replacement as the Gavra Racing GT admin, please send a message to Kevin on Discord or at me in the GT chat, and I'll give you access to the details of who to message as well. I'm sure the GT7 League will continue for another season, except I won't be a part of it. If commentary needs to be done, then I'm sure I might step up. But yeah, what a way to end the season and everything else in between. What else is there to say? I don't really know. I'm usually good at waffling at the end of commentaries, but I don't know what else to say, because I can't say I'll see you next season. Well, I might see some people next season. But yeah. What a show it's been. I mean, this season has been very close, very competitive all the way through. Thank you, Black Country, for your kind messages in the chat as Tim goes flying off to the left-hand side of the circuit and into the barrier. What else is there left to say? Surely there's something, right? Can't end it like this. It's a shame not everyone could have made it to today's race. And we've had our ups and downs throughout the seasons. For me, I think Season 3 was a personal highlight. The most drivers I think we got during the course of a season. So I'm going to say well done to Toussaint, Bon Evil, Dutchy, Aston and Wolfie, your drivers champions across the 9 seasons. Tiger picking up a Constructors with Toussaint. I think Pierre won a Constructors with Dutchy. I can't quite remember. So yeah, well done to all of our champions over the years. The league won't end here. I'm sure someone will be willing to fill some pretty big shoes. And I don't mean that, you know, I mean that literally as well. I do have quite long feet, as I've just been murdered by half the grid, which is fantastic. What can I say as the drivers continue to finish the lap? Leave a comment on this video on YouTube. Go back to the YouTube video and watch. Let me know your favourite race to watch or be in as a driver, spectator. Mine, I think, was Lago this season, was pretty good. Tokyo's have been pretty good. We've had some really good seasons. Some really good races. And these are the drivers that make it happen at the end of the day, albeit Tiger's not here, Toussaint's not here. You know, Dan Schneider, Wolfie, Thunder, Woody, Duke. Massive shout out to Duke. And I think we should actually get a beautiful screenshot of this formation driving. Unfortunately, Dutchy wants to be special, seeing as he is the 6-time world champion. Could have fit on the outside, but hey ho. If we go up and then, how high can we go? There we go. So yeah, I think that is where, I think we'll end it like this. Thank you everyone so much for watching, not only this race, but every race for the past 9 seasons. I have been your commentator, admin, driver, steward, you name it, X90 G. And it's one for the final time. It's time to cross the checkered flag. I'll see you guys in the future. Gone but not forgotten. One day I will make a return. Goodbye. So sad.